orgasm because you say no to someone, you must punish yourself after. It goes back to the church. It goes back to the church. When the church takes over, when Christianity takes over, the paganism, do you know what they used to do when they had pleasures of the flesh? Self-flagellation. They used to beat themselves, the fakirs. You're doing the same thing, but instead of taking a belt to yourself, you're mistreating yourself. It's a psychological orgasm. The moment you say your truth, the moment you say what is not socially acceptable, you're getting off and you're beating yourself because it's a pleasure.
But what happens if
I do
you
beat
change
myself
certain things
because
like that?
Of course you beat yourself. Of
But
course.
I also tell her.
It doesn't matter. Of course you could tell her. But you beat yourself up. We need you to get to the point where you tell the person and you don't harm Tanisha.
Oh, okay.
That's what the client needs.
That's what I was asking.
Is for us to bring them to the 48 to 52. The 100 is telling them off. The 0 is nothing. Saying nothing. We need to get you to self-mastery, which is I have permission to tell someone no. I will not drive you to the grocery store. And not have any being upset, no subconscious programming, no guilt, no self-flagellation because of it. That's our job to help the client get there. 2 ways to help the client get there. First, I need you to define for me what is reliable. What is it to be reliable? Define it in your own words.
To do what needs to be done in a time frame.
To do what needs to be done in a time frame?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know how to define this, and I don't know how to define this. So what does it need to be done?
What needs to be done?
Yeah, how do I know? I don't need to take your grandmother anywhere, but I need to get sleep. So that's not something I can measure. I need you to define. Don't let the client off the hook. You have to stay there 40 minutes, you stay there 40 minutes. Make them think and make them work.
You want me to change the words needs and time frame?
I just want you to give me a definition, and if you think it's changing those 2 words, that's great. I just want you to give me a definition that I can measure. I can't measure this. What needs to be done.
Reliable is doing what is asked of you.
Now we're talking. Doing what is asked, okay, and in what time frame?
In what time frame?
You put in a time frame. I need to know a time frame so I can measure it. You could tell me 100 years. Well, that's not being reliable. I need something measurable. How quickly should you do what's asked of you?
Depends on what it is.
Okay.
Things need to be done faster than others.
Okay, can you give me a time frame? Just in a month, in a week, in a few hours, within 3 days of being asked? Something so we can measure it. Your client needs to hold themselves responsible. Law of attraction. You are creating your reality. You are creating your life. Therefore, make them realize what they're creating. Don't be in a hurry. Silence is uncomfortable. They're thinking, who cares? You're getting paid for your time, and they're getting help.
Okay, within a month of it being asked.
Okay, doing what is asked of you within a month of being asked. What is one thing that's majorly wrong with this definition?
this is majorly wrong? Well, first, a month, probably.
No, she's allowed to pick her time frame. One thing that's majorly wrong with this definition.
The word as.
Okay, elaborate.
Because, I don't want to sound wrong, but you're fulfilling the need of the other person instead of.
Always.
Yeah, because they're asking.
She
you
is
to do
implying
something, she has to do
always.
it.
All she has to do is put always doing what is asked. So one of your major issues, Black Moon, your prostitute, your psychological orgasm, your guilt, is that the minute you say no, you're already not reliable. You're giving yourself no room to say no. That's the first thing that's wrong with your definition. And you can do a whole session just on a definition. Because what you want to do is bring awareness. I need her to be aware that when this is her definition, it is implying always. Of course it is, because that's her value. That's what she was taught. That's the tenet she lives by. So can you rewrite this in a way that isn't implying always? What gives you permission to say no to someone?
My words.
Your will?
What gives me permission to tell somebody no?
If I ask you right now to give me $100 and you say no, why? Why do you have permission to tell me no? But if I ask you to go to my desk and pick up a book, you'd probably go. What would be the difference between you picking to say yes to someone and being reliable or saying no to someone?
I guess my time.
Your time. Wow. You mean your time is valuable?
Time does cost money.
You're leaving yourself out of your definition of reliable. So could she ever be reliable for herself? If she has left herself out of the exact definition? Never. She is set up for failure. She is set up to zero. She is set up to never meet her own needs of being reliable for herself. That's the importance of having someone defined so you can see what they're thinking. They are not going to accidentally answer the question. I don't care if you take a month. You probably wouldn't take a month. And that could be your out. Yes, Miss Francis, I will go down and get the book, but my definition of reliable is that within a month. So when I have time within the next 30 days, I'll be happy to do that for you. You get permission, you get an out. I can go, oh, Tanisha, no, don't worry about it. I'm going to send Trisha because I need it now. You have now put yourself into the definition. But when you're, as a child, told you are always or you are never, you're already stamped as a value statement. And you will prove that right over and over and over again, even if it means being unreliable for yourself, even if it means backstabbing yourself, even if it means not taking care of your health. We are set up from the beginning with our judgments, our values, and our beliefs. If you listen, your client is doing the work. You don't have to do anything. Just ask, who taught you that? How does it feel when you leave yourself out of the reliable equation? Then you give them step 6. I want you to write a rule, you can do that for homework, about being reliable. Out of 3 people that ask me to do something, I will only say yes to 1. Or every time someone asks me to do something, I'm going to tell them I'll get to it in a month. Half the people, if not more, are going to be like, screw you, I'll find someone new. And And that's good. That's good for you. That's good for them, so that they stop.
Yeah.
So your homework is to write a rule around reliability. Something measurable. Put it in your rule book.
But you can change all these.
You can change the rules all the time. Absolutely. Change your rules all the time. But they're always going to have the component of being measurable and giving you something to rely on. If you don't hold yourself accountable like the people that were doing the Law of Attraction book, then you think there's something wrong with you. And you're not going to get the guy, and you're not going to get the abundance, and you're not going to get the health, and you're not going to get, the degree or whatever. And you're going to continuously prove yourself right and fail exactly where you're supposed to fail. Because in the myth, you were sent to exile for trying to get what you wanted. And how dare you get what you want? How dare you not please someone else first? How dare you say no? Go to exile. God exiled every single one of us for one part of our life. That's your black moon. Super, super important. That's your prostitute. That's where you will sell yourself out. Okay? That is where you sell yourself out. I'll get you the handout. I have it downstairs of the thing. Any questions on this? Okay. So soulmate. There is not one soulmate for every person because we have a law of vibration. So I want you to think of it like a thermometer or a ladder or a scale. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't care. You can go blue, green, yellow, orange, purple, black, white, doesn't matter to me. Design your scale of vibration any way you want. Every single one of these scales have criteria. How many of you are brunette? I used to be.
I used to be too.
Okay. I used to be because I'm bald now. She used to be because she dyes her hair now. But there's a criteria of being brunette. So one criteria, this is an example, people, is brunette. How many of you have light eyes?
I wish.
Okay, so we have light eyes. You guys are brunette, but you have brown eyes. So this is light eyes. This is brunette, dark eyes. How many of you are blonde?
Box
Okay,
count.
blonde with light eyes, and then blonde with dark eyes. How many are redhead? Okay, no one in this class. Redhead, light eyes, redhead, dark eyes. Do you see how I just made 6 different columns, 6 different criteria? In the law of vibration, it's the same exact thing. You are a number 1, you're a number 2, you're a number 3. She's a number 1, you're a number 2, you're a number 3. You're a number 1, I'm a number 2, she's a number 3. If I told you guys to go to your group of 1, your group of 2, your group of 3, there would be 3 people in each group. This is how it works. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of soulmates for you. It is a vibration that you resonate at. A number 5, a color purple, I don't care what you pick. That criteria, guess where we get the criteria from? The answer's on the board. Judgments, values, and beliefs. Your soulmate is going to have the exact or the exact opposite values, judgments, and beliefs. And there's a gazillion people who think they're losers, who think they're low self-worth, who can never get a good job, who have broken cars and tires all the time. And those are going to be the people that are going to fall into her tunnel. There can be a gazillion people on the outside, but they don't vibrate like her unreliability, so she doesn't meet them or like them or attract to them or date them.
That's so crazy. I think like that.
It's a metaphysical law. Therefore, it holds true whether you're aware of the law or not. So the person that you meet is exactly at your vibration. And it's based on values, judgments, and beliefs. What happens when someone breaks up? Why do we break up with people? Because something happened that you're no longer vibrating at the same judgments, values, and beliefs. You shifted. They shifted. You can't meet. You're no longer on the same rung of the ladder. I'm on the second floor and someone's on the first floor. That's just the way it is. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the other person.
Yes, exactly.
It's simply that you changed your values. Super, super important. I had a client this week. This is a great homework. If you are in a couple, I highly recommend it. If I ever couple again, I'm going to do this assignment. So I gave this homework assignment to I know, right? You heard my Saturn. My Saturn's in the 7th. The 7th is relationships. You heard my value right there. I'm not couple material. I don't deserve to be in a couple. All my relationships are screwed up. You heard me. I just gave you a program of mine. It's that easy, people. It's that easy. We're not magicians, but we can sure as hell pretend to be. People are telling us everything.
So you change the if to when.
In what?
When I am in
Oh.
another relationship.
When I am in another relationship, thank you, Mom, I will do this assignment. Okay. So I have this client earlier, I think it was last week or earlier this week, and I work with both him and his girlfriend. Okay? Months ago, I saw the writing on the wall that they were going to have problems. I love them. I want to marry them. Like, I do not want them to break up. So he calls for his session. He's like, you know what you said a few months ago about me and her? We're having trouble, whatever, whatever. All we do is bitch. All we do is fight. We're constantly fighting. But he's a really great guy. And he's like, I don't want to break up with her. And she's ready to just throw in the towel, whatever, which I don't believe. She's just dramatic. So I said to him, take out a piece of paper. Have you ever seen those papers that people put usually on campuses, and it says tutoring, and then they put the little papers with the phone number, and you rip the little papers? Okay. So I had him do, on the big part of the paper, the shared values. And I said to him, what are the shared values between you and her? He's like, we both have a really good work ethic. We both want children. We both love our families and want a big family. And we both love animals. Those are the shared values of those people. So the little papers has animals, shared values, family, work ethic, the little papers. So when you get into an argument with her, you go to your refrigerator and you take out one of those little papers that should have the phone number on it, and you ask her, is this fight about a shared value? And if the answer is no, it's just ego. It's just he said, she said, somebody wants to be right. The moment the couple has an argument about the values, you're fucked. And then there's a problem. Bring in my concept of thread mate. Thread mate doesn't have any weight that there's one person in the world that is just, oh my God, the end all be all. My definition of thread mate is based on reality. Thread mates pair up according to shared values, law of vibration, and we understand that there are several partners, because there's a ton of people that are brunette with brown eyes, if that's the vibration it's resonating at. That there are several partners for each person. However, we choose our partner for the common thread we will fight for in the relationship, and the thread you can live with or can't live without. Many people, this is a very common one, won't get divorced because of the kids.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a shared value. There's nothing wrong with it. There are people that won't get divorced because they like the way they live financially. There's nothing wrong with that. If both people in the couple have that shared value, then that couple is a thread mate. And they are going to last until that shared value disintegrates. Then there will be a breakup. Because now you no longer share the same values. Therefore, that person is no longer your mirror. So are breakups problematic? Yes, they hurt us. But is there a rhyme and reason that one of the people both really chose it and created it? Of course. That's what makes me so annoyed that I know this, that I can't get angry at my ex-husband. It pisses me off. And most of us, if you have stayed in a relationship past its expiration date, I can get, been there, done that? Yeah, me too. If you have stayed in a relationship past its expiration date, 99.9%, to not say 100, you are violating your values.
Oh, yeah.
And you are forcing yourself to be in a value system, a law of vibration, with law of attraction, with some law of vibration with someone that you're no longer vibrating with. And let me tell you that I saw myself violate my values big time. That's your prostitute. It's where you will violate your values because you think you are such a piece of shit in that sector of your life that you don't deserve to get something better, to get something at the vibration that you resonate at. So you stay attached, violating yourself, simply because you have self-hatred, self-loathing, and you don't think you deserve it. You've exiled yourself that this is the only person, and I don't care if I'm violating my values. This is your prostitute. It's where you sell yourself out. Every one of us has a prostitute. Every single one of us has a price. And where you sell yourself out and you violate your values is where you can sell yourself and you have a price.
I did that with my first boyfriend. I was with him for 6.5 years, and the whole couple last like 3 or 4 years, I knew like.
And
what
you
am I
knew,
doing?
and we know,
Yeah.
and we know.
But that's all I was.
And you
used to.
start questioning, and then you feel guilty, and you're like, oh my God, but I don't like this about this person anymore. And I don't want to go out all the time, and I don't want to do this all the time. And no, I don't want to have an open relationship. Whatever it is that you violate.
Yeah, I even believed that I couldn't make it without him when I was the one paying for everything. And doing
Exactly the
everything.
same thing happened to me
I
with
was-
my ex-boyfriend. I was paying for everything, and I thought I couldn't be without him, that he was giving me some sort of protection,
I was-
saving me from something.
I mean, I didn't know any better at the
We
time.
brainwash ourselves.
I was on the street, and that was my first relationship. I started with him when I was 12 and a half, so I didn't know any better. And he was
Right.
older than me, so like I listened to that. But then once I started like all the time, I was like, man, I'm just with you because I'm used to you. And I said it for like 3 years,
Yes.
4 years, the same thing. I was like,
Thank you.
so one day I was like,
I'm
out of
with
here.
you. Listen to that. I'm with you because I'm used to you. Where else can we say this?
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, definitely. I was obviously I was with him, and I stayed with him because I would.
This
I didn't have
is
nobody
super,
else at the time.
super important. Where else do we stay with things because we're used to them?
Our jobs.
Yes, but that's not the answer.
Even family,
That I'm
even
looking
family
at.
members, even with family.
Yes, all that's true, but that's not the answer I'm looking for. It's the lecture of today.
Marriage. And what? Oh, in a marriage?
No, not a marriage. It's your subconscious beliefs about yourself. Your programs. You stay with your programs because you're used to them.
That's why you should
Oh,
always
yeah, 'cause
analyze yourself.
When I'm trying to do something different,
My problem is consistency. Like I've been
Of
doing
course. That's my whole model. Define it, put a rule, and do it. You can't. Because if you allow yourself, you're going to lose your Costco card. If you allow yourself, then what are you going to beat yourself up over? Not being reliable, and you're reliable now? Of course you can't be consistent. It goes with your programming. You're not allowed. You don't have permission. You are attached to your programs. You love them. You make love to them. You get off with them. You don't want to let go of them. I had this book. It was called Living Enlightenment, and it was like this guru from India wrote it, and he wrote little anecdotes and short stories. It was cute. And there was one story that said that there was a teacher, and the guy goes to the teacher and says, I want to give all my problems, I want different problems. And the guru teacher guy goes, okay, take any number, any one of these garbage bags. There's people's problems, and you could leave your problems and take another bag. The next morning, the guy runs in. He goes, I want my problems back. I want my own problems back. And he took them back. We know our problems. We're used to our programs. We love our values and judgments. That's the black moon. She, every night, would eat her children and then birth them again. Why are we doing the same cycle and the same pattern every single day? Because we like it. We are attached to our programming. The subconscious is dictating it all. And if you listen, you're going to hear the programs from the person. And all you need to do is ask them, who taught you that about yourself? What value system were you brought up with according to reliability? Are women the only ones that can be bright and sweet in your family? Tell me about the men versus the women in your family. What personality criteria must they have? Do you see that from 3 silly questions that have nothing to do with anything? You have a whole session?
Yeah.
It's not that hard. It is not that hard. If you listen and you understand that we are creating everything. So when a client comes with those values, you can start helping them unravel them, dismantle them, and get them to realize that they have permission to be reliable for herself more than anybody. That she has a right to say no. That she doesn't always have to be bright and sweet. Last I checked, we can't digest corn. And if you've ever looked at your poop, the corn is intact in your shit.
Yeah, I don't eat corn at all.
That's not bright and sweet. That's shit.
Yeah.
And there are times that you get to be shitty
Oh my God.
and still be awesome. So we just have to question and question and question. And therapists will oftentimes simply put a doubt in the client's mind about, oh, so you're a shitty mother, right? Okay. REBT, Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy. I don't know if that's in this book of the theories. I think, was it Beck?
Mm-hmm.
REBT was Beck?
Yeah.
Okay, that was his thing. That type
we
of,
went on that.
thing. Oh yeah, of course. Rationalize it. Of course you're a shit mother. Who the hell loses custody of their mother unless they're kids? Well, you must be a scumbag, because only scumbags do. And it's that kind of thing. That's not my particular therapeutic type, but it's one. And that's the rationale behind it. If you let the client rationalize, they're going to be like, damn, wait a minute, this person just insulted me and I paid them? Damn, wait a minute, let me prove myself wrong.
And there's
Let me
people
try
that-
to do it differently.
There's people that like that. There's people
Yeah.
that are okay with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is where these different therapeutic models come in. A humanist would never do that. A humanist is telling you how amazing you are.
I'd rather hear the bad and the good.
Yeah, but and for some people, humanist will not work. I'm probably one of those people. My ex-husband definitely needs to be coddled and, told the good, and then slowly talks about the not so good.
Oh, I can't hear.
I used to hear from my mother, "Da da da vuelta, da 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 vuelta." You know, like
Beating around the bush.
beating around the bush. Let him.
Oh my god.
And I was like, hell no, I'm divorcing this guy.
I rather hear
So, and he would tell me, oh, if you tell me I'm right all the time, you'll live a good life.